कृष्ण चैतन्य देव श्री राधा कृष्ण पदं सगणलितां श्री विशाखान्वितं च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीन बंधु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यः च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमती भक्ति वेदांत स्वामीति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. So thank you very much for attending. Today is very important subject matter because today we are going to discuss about the 12th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, which is the last chapter of Bhakti. Actually, in the whole 18th chapter, the Bhakti has been very profusely mentioned by Krishna. But in first 6 chapter, predominantly karma yoga is mentioned, and from 7 to 12 chapter bhakti is mentioned most profusely and predominantly. Therefore, it is called Bhakti Yoga chapter. And 13 to 18, so Lord has more emphasized on the Jnana Yoga. But the Karma Yoga will lead to Bhakti, Jnana Yoga will lead to Bhakti. Both of the yoga will lead to Bhakti. Therefore, this 7 to 12 is very important, and 12th chapter is culmination of the Bhakti. Therefore, this chapter, the title of the chapter is called Bhakti, devotional service. Very important subject matter. Krishna has explained that Bhakti is superior to impersonalism and progressive stage of devotion and qualities that endear one to Krishna. That means qualities that Krishna likes in devotee. So this is the 3 themes are there, and very important subject matter because it explains the more profound nature of the bhakti or supremacy of the bhakti in this 12th chapter, in this particular chapter. Out of all 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, now it is 12th chapter. So as we have been discussing last 2 sessions that how in the 10th chapter, so Krishna is speaking to Arjuna about his, his opulences. Chaturshloki is there, his opulences. I am the supreme, everything manifested from me and everything represents me. So in this way, he is explaining a verbal explanations of his unlimited opulences of Krishna. In 11th chapter, Arjuna wanted to see his opulences. So upon the request of Arjuna in 11th chapter is called universal form. So we discuss about the universal form. So Lord showed his universal form, 11th chapter. And 12th chapter is devotional service. It kind of, what do we say? There is no incongruity. There is no synergy. Suddenly after universal form and devotional service is coming. And Arjuna also asking that which are considered to be more perfect, those who are always properly engaged in your devotional service or those who are worship your impersonal Brahman. That means bhakti are impersonal, personal form or impersonal form. So actually there is no link between the 11th chapter and 12th chapter. It's seemingly, apparently there is no link, because in the end of the 11th chapter, Lord is saying that there is 5 ways you can come back to me. You have to work for me. We have learned that the five tips or 5 ways we can come back to. I will little bit of go to recap the last verses of 11th chapter. Therefore, we should understand actually how it is linking. So here Krishna says that very important verses of entire Bhagavad Gita, entire 11th chapter. Also, it is essence of Bhagavad Gita. So Krishna says that, my dear Arjuna, you engage in my pure devotional service, free from contamination of fruitive activities, mental speculation. He works for me, who makes me the supreme goal of his life, who is friendly to every living being. He certainly comes to me. So Krishna has given 5 tips to come to Arjuna in the last verse of 11th chapter. First thing he told that we have to work for Krishna. Krishna says that mat karma krim. That means you have to work for Krishna. Mat parama, that you have to surrender to me. Mad bhakta, you become devotee. Sangha bardita means you have to give up all bad association. Nirvahi sarva bhuteshu, you have to see everybody in the equal level. So in this way, 5 tips has been given to come to Arjuna. But in 13th chapter in the beginning, Arjuna is asking something which is rather not related. So Arjuna telling that, Arjuna inquired, which are considered to be more perfect? Those who are always properly engaged in your devotional service, or those who worship the impersonal Brahman, the unmanifested? So how this relation comes? So if you remember, 9th chapter, Krishna has explained there are 3 kinds of worshipper in there. In 9:15, you can remember in Bhagavad Gita, we have gone through this one. So we should always reflect whatever we are discussing here. In 9:15, Krishna is explaining that others who engage in sacrifice by cultivation of knowledge worship the Supreme Lord as one without a second, as diverse in many, in the universal form. So Lord here telling that there are 3 kinds of worshipper in there. First of all, worshipper is cultivation of knowledge and worship the Supreme Lord as one without a second. That means they are called impersonalist. Impersonalist means they think that Lord has no form. Jnana yogena chapi anya jagyante mam upasate. Ekattena means impersonalist. They want to merge in this Lord impersonal yogi. So purthektena means demigod worship. Bahuda vishwasta mukham means universal form. So 3 things Lord has explained. But Lord has already given that 9th chapter how the demigod worship is not recommended. He explained 9:15, we have learned that demigod worship is not authorized actually. And it is not prescribed. It is avidhi purvaka, not properly prescribed. And universal form also, we have learned universal form last session, how Lord has showed the universal form. It is a material manifestation form. It is some total of all material manifestation. It is very fearful form. And Arjuna also saw the form, but he was not so much, he was frightened actually. So some people also, they like the Vishwa form, this Vishwarupa form. But he did not explain about Ekattena, mean impersonalist. So in this chapter, Arjuna is asking, my dear Lord, you have already explained me the 3 kinds of worshipper, apart from devotees. Devotees are best. They are first, the Satatam Kirtante Mama Jajanta Chaduddavata, Mahatmanastu Mama Partha, 9:11, 9:12. So Krishna had already explained. Now 9:15, he explained that there are other people also, they worship me. Who are impersonalists also worship me. Those who are demigod worshipper, they also worship me. Somehow by different way, indirectly. And also the universal form, they also worship me. Now Arjuna is asking, you have explained all the things. You have explained about devotional service. You have explained about the demigod worshipper. And also you have explained about the Vishwarupa. But you have not explained the Ekattena, impersonal. Now, therefore, this 12th chapter is begin with this notes that Arjuna is asking that which is more perfect, whether the devotional service, that means engage in the devotional service of the Lord, personal form, or worship the impersonal one, unmanifested. So there are 2 kinds of people. Some people, they like that Lord has no form. And another people, devotee, they say that Lord has form. And we wanted to, they wanted to worship the Lord. Actually, according to Shastra, Srimad Bhagavatam, there are different aspects of the Lord. The 3 aspects of the Lord has been mentioned. Badanti tattva vidyas tattam yadganam advayan brahmeti paramatmeti bhagavan iti sabdate. So Lord has 3 features. Learned transcendentalists who know the absolute truth call this non-dual substances Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. So Lord has 3 aspects or 3 features. One is Brahman. Brahman means like impersonal Brahma Jyoti, the effulgence coming from the body of the Lord. Just like a sun ray. Sun ray called the Brahman of the sun, effulgence of the sun. Paramatma is localized sun disk, Paramatma. and Bhagavana. Bhagavana means son God. So Prabhupada always compare this example that how to know the three features. And so he gives the example of son. So Lord has three aspects, but out of three aspects, the Bhagavan aspect is the highest of devotee. So here Arjuna is asking what is the best, whether the Brahman or Bhagavan, which is the best. So in order to answer, all the three features are very much approved. All three are those who are worshipping all the three features, three aspects of the Lord. They are transcendentalists, but there is a different practice. There is a different preference, or there is a different destination also. So here, in this chapter, in the very beginning, 4-5 verses, Lord is first of all clear the doubt of this one. Because many people in India, they are also called Mayavadi. Mayavadi means they worship the Lord has no form. Lord has no form. Therefore, here Arjuna is clarifying which is the good. Whether the personal, worshipping your personal form or worshipping your non-personal. Because Lord has a non-personal form means his energy is expanding everywhere. Krishna says that, Mai tatam idam sarvam jagata abhyakta murtina. Krishna is expanding everywhere. His energy, just like a king. The king administration, control is throughout the kingdom. Similarly, Krishna energy, material energy is working, spiritual energy working. So all sort of energy is working. We are also energy of the Lord. So in this way, Lord is spreading, all pervading with their energy. Just like a government is everywhere, is administration. But the president is different. The ruling of king is everywhere throughout the kingdom. But king is separate, a person. Just like sun rays are spreading everywhere. But the sun god, Vivasana, or sun god, who is sun, very separate, he is there. Therefore, Krishna says, Mai tatam idam sarvam. Although everywhere my energy, everywhere I am in my unmanifested form, my energy is working, material energy working, the orbit is working, how the sun is rotating properly, every planet is rotating, because Krishna says, I am going, my energy, the orbit, all the orbit, the planets are moving within the orbit. If they go away from the orbit, just like sun, just example, if sun is coming little bit of nearer to earth, then earth will be burnt. If sun is going little beyond and far away from the earth will get cold. How this is working? It's not a chance, You go to casino, you play some number coming 6. One time is accidental, 2 times accidental, 100 times, 200 times you are coming 6 means already a pattern. The pattern, this means something is there. Some pattern is there and some brain is there. Every time sun is rising. Sun is rising in the east, sun is rising in the setting on the west. Sunrise, change of the weather, all this pattern is going on from since time immemorial. Cannot be a chance, as some foolish scientists claim. Therefore, Krishna also says in the beautiful 15th chapter that I goes, my energy, all this orbit is working. Very important verse. Krishna says that I enter into each planet. By my energy, they stay in orbit. I become the moon, thereby supplying the juice of life to all vegetables. See, this is Krishna energy. In this way, is all providing by his impersonal features. The energy is working everywhere. Everywhere, even the digestive system, Krishna say also, just like we are eating prasadam, taking prasadam. Why you are praying before prasadam, Manari? Because Krishna as a digestive Agni, he helps us to digest our food. Without digesting food, we cannot survive. Simple thing. Supposing I eat the food and it does not digest, we cannot survive. Krishna is there. He himself claims here. He himself say that Pachami annam chaturvidam. Krishna say Pachami annam chaturvidam. I am the fire of digestion in the bodies of all living entity. I join with the air of life, outgoing, incoming, to digest four kinds of food. See, everything is the hand of Krishna. And in his impersonal forms, his energy. Some people say that, oh, God does not exist. If God does not exist, you cannot exist. Our life is at stake without God. Everywhere we find this God's energy. Therefore, Einstein, Isaac Newton, they understood that. The physical law, there's a brain behind this all physical law. It's not a by chance, it's a pattern. Krishna has created the pattern, and it has been working same way since time memorial. This laws has been made by Krishna, his energy. Aham ojasa, this is my energy, Arjuna. So therefore, we should understand that that is called Abhyakta Murtina everywhere. And the Paramatma, he is everybody in the soul. Everywhere, every living entity enter as a super soul. Why? Without super soul, soul cannot do anything. Just like an engine. It's like without engine, we cannot drive. A super soul is there. Therefore, he can detect us. He can supervise as well as direct us. What to do, what not. I mean, direct us to sanctioning authorities. Therefore, it is stated in Bhagavad Gita, the Paramatma feature of the Lord. It is stated that Bhagavad Gita, that Paramatma feature of the Lord. See, what is the Upadashta Anumanta cha Bhakta Bhakta Maheshwara Paramatma cha Vyukta Dehasmin Purusha Paraha. So, yet in this body there is another, a transcendental enjoyer who is the Lord of Supreme Proprietor, who exists as an overseer and permitter. He is overseeing our activities and also permitting. Without his permission, we cannot do anything. And who is known as Super Soul. That is the second feature of the Lord. And final feature is Bhagavan, a Supreme Personality of Godhead, as a person. Who Bhagavan means use everything, who has all the opulences, who is maintaining everybody. Eka Bahunama Vidaya. Is maintaining. Without him. So there are three features of the Lord. So here Arjuna is asking about the difference between his personal and impersonal features. So Krishna is answering that the Supreme Personality of Godhead said that those who fix their mind on my personal form and are always engaged in worshipping me with great and transcendental faith are considered by me to be most perfect. So answer has been given by Krishna. Maya bhasya manoyamam nitya yukta upasate sadhaya paripatas tame yukta tamamata. So this is the thing. Krishna has here already, Krishna has given that those who are doing my service, those who are worshipping my personal form means like we have like deity worship. Krishna can manifest in any form. So we are engaging in devotional sadhana bhakti. Deities, temple, worshipping the Lord, offering prasadam, all this is called personal. Washing the temple, dishes, all this temple, that is sadhana bhakti, personal form. So that is superior than impersonal, because impersonal form is like, concentrating on the air. You cannot concentrate on the air. The Mayavadi, they thinking that the Lord has no form, they are meditating. And it is not only troublesome, so much troublesome that they imagine form of the Lord. So therefore create that Pancha Upasana. 5 kind of Vishnu, they worshipping Durga, Ganesh, Lord Shiva, and in Surya. In this way, there are 5 Upasana. They created all the things. Because they are thinking that, this is a practice match. They are thinking that this demigod worship just imaginary is a practice match. So Krishna here is very clear that unmanifested form is not so, they are not perfect. Why not perfect? Krishna will tell the subsequent verses. But those who fully worship the unmanifested, that which lies beyond the perception of the senses, all pervading, inconceivable, unchanging, fixed and immovable, impersonal conception of absolute truth, by controlling the various senses and being equally disposed everyone, such person engaged in the welfare of all, at last achieve me. Krishna say both are transcendentalists, but the devotees, their direct service. Impersonalists cannot do the diverse service because they are simply meditating, knowledge, meditating on the impersonal form. And that is very, very difficult. Therefore, it is said that Krishna, Bahunama Janmanmate Jnana Vana Mam Prapadyante Vasudeva Sarva. It takes them lot of time, lot of lifetime to achieve the Krishna. And sometimes they do not even achieve the, what devotee achieve. They just merge into impersonal Brahman. They do not go to the Vaikuntha actually. They do not go to Vaikuntha unless they change their impersonal to personality. That also will take a long time. With the somehow or other, by fortunate, they meet with pure devotees, since they change it. Just like Sukadev Goswami. Sukadev Goswami was initially Brahmavadi, but as soon as he associated with Srimad Bhagavatam through his father, Vasudev, he changed. Kumaras are also same thing, impersonalist, like Brahmavadi. As soon as they smell the tulasi leaf coming from this lotus feet of the Lord, they change it. They change, become Brahmavadi to be. Otherwise, very difficult. The destination is just merging the impersonal Brahman. And that is also very, not secured place. It is stated, this beautiful verses Prabhupada used to quote, that the destination is also not so secure. Yanya Ravindaka Vimuktamanina Shasta Bhavata Vishuddha Buddhaya Arvi Kirchana Parampada Patantiyada Nadrita Dismatangraya. Very important verses. So someone may say that aside from devotee who always seek shelter at the Lord's lotus feet, they are those who are not devotees but who have accepted different process for attaining salvation. What happened to them? In answer to this question, Lord Brahma and other demigods said, O lotus-eyed Lord, although non-devotee who accept the severe austerity penances to achieve the highest position may think themselves liberated. Their intelligence is impure. They fall down from their position of imagined superiority because they have no regard for your lotus feet. They want to merge with Brahman. They do not regard for the worshipping lotus feet, glorifying, hearing about glorification of the Lord. So their position is not secure. And Krishna also say, after so many births, after so many lifetimes, finally they achieve me. And their also destination is not the highest destination. And particularly this common man cannot do all the things. They cannot practice. But beauty of devotional service or Krishna consciousness, even a child can take part. Immediately a child also chanting. He do not know the meaning also. Still he gets the Ajnata Sikriti, unknowing piety. When he chants Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. Simply by chanting the glorification of the Lord, he is getting this knowledge. Even after knowing any knowledge about Krishna, he do not know even the meaning of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Still he is benefiting. Therefore, devotional service is very superior. Susukham kartum abhayam. Lord say in chapter 9, this is very joyfully performed. On the other hand, impersonal things very difficult. Krishna is answering here. Sri Bhagavan Vacha Klesha Adhikatarastesam Abhyakta Sakta Chetasam Abhyakta Gatir Dukkam Dehadivir Avakpata. For those whose minds are attached to the unmanifested impersonal feature of the Supreme, advancement is very troublesome. To make progress in this discipline is always difficult for those who are embodied. Very difficult because we are already embodied for since time immemorial. For us to think of something impersonal is very troublesome. Because we have been since time immemorial, our soul has been embodied. So we are always attached with some kind of form. Therefore, it is very, very difficult. This is Jnani Yogi. Jnani Yogi, by thinking, cultivating the knowledge to meditate our mind on impersonal features, very, very difficult. Although they may bring to the same goal ultimately, but Jnana Yoga is very, very difficult. This impersonal is very troublesome. Therefore, Krishna say in this beautiful verses in Bhagavatam, there are so many verses it is stated that this impersonal worshipping is very, very painful. Oh Lord, person who because of their serious attitude attain the stage of enlightened devotional service, attain the complete meaning of renunciation knowledge, attain the Vaikuntha Loka in the spiritual sky, simply by drinking the nectar of your topic. This is about devotee. About impersonalist, others who are pacified by means of transcendental self-realization have conquered over the modes of nature by dint of strong power and knowledge, also enter into you. But for them there is much pain, whereas devotee simply discharge devotional service, thus feels no such pain. That is the difference. Krishna is telling the same thing. Although the goal is same, but the path is very troublesome, very painful. But for devotee it's very easy. Therefore Krishna says that Susukham kartum abhayam raja vidya raja guhyam. Raja vidya raja guhyam. So Krishna says raja vidya raja guhyam pavitram idamam uttam. Pratyakyavagyam dharma susukham kartum abhyam. Susukham means joyfully perform, not painfully. Knowledge is the king of education, most secret of all secret. It is the purest knowledge because it gives the direct perception of the self I realize. It is the perfection of religion. It is everlasting, joyful. This is devotional service. 9th chapter is confidential knowledge about devotional service. It's joyfully performed. Even a child can take part. One time Prabhupada, there's two very jnani, they came to meet Prabhupada. So Prabhupada asked, who is God? So they say, Prabhupada, is not that simply one statement we can explain the God. No, that is not possible. So we need to have so many, we have to have so many different, explanation of the God. Then there was a devotee, Sam Sundar Prabhu, something, devotee child named Saraswati. Then Prabhupada immediately called her. Very small, 3 years child or 3-4 years, asked her, who is God? Krishna. Who is Krishna? Supreme Personality of Godhead. Then Prabhupada told them, okay, you go. Then he asked this Gyanis, two Gyanis, you see the small child is speaking. No, Prabhupada, this is just, that is not the proper. What is not the proper? What is the ultimate goal of understanding all your research or your cultivation of knowledge? Krishna is the Supreme Lord. This Bhakti Yoga, we directly know Krishna Supreme. No need to cultivate all the things. Therefore, this is Susukham Kartum Abhayam. On the other end, the painful. All this is painful. Krishna said it is very klesha. Klesha means very painful, troublesome. So there is so many verses in this regard who explain that is very, very, very important verses. I will show you some verses. That is supremacy of the bhakti over the impersonality. The present form or any transcendental form expanded by the Supreme Personality of God, Sri Krishna, is equally auspicious for all universe. Since you have manifested this eternal personal form upon whom your devotee meditate, I offer my respectful obeisance unto you. Those who are destined to be dispatched to the path of hell neglect your personal form because speculating on material temple. So those who really disregard your personal form, they are speculating only, and they are dispatched to path of hell even. See? Very strong word has been given. Very strong word has been given. Path of hell. And Brahmaji also is speaking also same way. Brahmaji is speaking about this impersonal thing. Very important verse of Prabhupada quote. My dear Lord, devotional service unto you the best path for self-realization. If someone gives up that path, engage in the cultivation of speculative knowledge, he will simply undergo a troublesome process, will not achieve his desired result. As a person who beats the empty husk of wheat cannot get grain. One who simply speculates cannot achieve self-realization. He only gain his trouble. This is what Krishna also saying. Very troublesome, and it takes so much lifetime. So much lifetime. Therefore, the speculative knowledge on the Lord meditating on the impersonal form, speculative, that is very, very tough, very troublesome. Sometimes they do, most of the time, they do not get the desired result, although they are expected, but they fail. Therefore, devotional service is the right path. And there's a gradation also has been given out of all the things, devotional path. And also it is stated that the ananda, the bliss we are getting is more than compared to the ocean of transcendental bliss that one tastes by chanting Hare Krishna mantra. The pleasure derived from impersonal Brahman realization, Brahmananda, is like a shallow water in a canal. See how beautifully Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has explained that when you chant Hare Krishna, the bliss you are getting, the impersonal Brahman, they are nothing, shallow water in a canal. It's a drop only. It's a drop only. This is the different, If a Brahmananda, the transcendental bliss derived from understanding impersonal Brahman, were multiplied a millions times, such a quantity of Brahmananda could not compare with even an atomic portion of the pleasure released in pure devotional service. See? Millions times multiplied. Still it is one not compared to one drop. So that is the difference between the impersonal worshipping and personal. So many verses are there. In the gradation also, they are telling that in gradation also, Krishna also say in the later chapter, the impersonalists are not the topmost. In 9:15 also Krishna say that best worshipping is the bhakti. After that bhakti, the impersonalist is second. Third one is demigod worshipper. Fourth one is Vishwarupa worshipper. There are 4 kinds of worshipper, Krishna says. 9, 11, 12, Krishna says that devotee, Satatam Kirtanta Mama Jajantatsa Diddhavarta, Namasantescha Mam Nityam Nitya Jutta Upasati. Krishna said, devotee are always chanting my glory. Mahatmanas to Mamupas, they are Mahatma. Then again he told in 9:15 that all other 3 kind of people, impersonalists, the demigod worshipper, and the Vishwarupa worshipper, all 3 are lower category as compared to devotees. In also Bhagavatam and other places, it is explained like, how the gradation is there. So they are not so superior. All these 5-6 verses, Krishna is explaining the superiority of the Bhakti Yogi. So actually, this Mayavadis, Lord Shiva, this Shankaracharya has expanded. It is actually ordered by the Krishna. See here it is said that addressing the Lord Shiva, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, said, please make the general populace opposed to me by imagining your own interpretation of the Veda. Also cover me in such a way that people will take more interest in advancing material civilization just to propagate the population bereft of spiritual knowledge. So this is advised by the Lord Shiva, and he has taken this Shankaracharya as Lord Shiva informed goddess of Durga, spirit ended of material world. In this age of Kali, I take the form of Brahmana, explain the Veda through the false scripture in an atheistic way, similar to Buddhist philosophy. Atheistic way. This impersonal is like an indirect atheistic. They are more dangerous. Sarvabhaumacharya became very much astonished upon hearing this. He became stunned and said nothing. See, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is explaining this, why the Shankaracharya, because it was ordered by the Krishna to Lord Shiva. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then told him, don't be astonished, actually devotional service unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the highest perfection of human activity. The highest. So this is given in so many verses that how it is very important, The Lord replied, first let me hear your explanation. After that, I shall try to explain what I little. So there is a conversation between Krishna and, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and this one going on. So here I have having personalist also. I have given a comparison. So I will send you what is the difference. So bhakti is superior to the impersonalism. So here Krishna is now explaining about that those who worship me, giving up all their activities unto me, being devoted to me without devotion, without deviation, engage in devotional service, always meditating upon me, and feast their minds upon me, ocean of Partha. For them, I am the swift deliverer from the ocean of birth and death. See, Krishna has already confirmed that although both path is good, but bhakti is very important. Other path is trouble. And here Krishna is telling, easy way. Bhakti is the very easiest way to go back to Godhead. Very easiest. Yastu sarvani karmani mai sannyasamattaraha ananyaiva yogena mam dhayante upasate tesam ham samudrata murtu sansara sagarat bhavami nachirat partha maya avashista chetasam. The devotional service is very simple, easy, because Krishna personally delivers his devotee. This is the fortunate position of devotional service. Simple way. Savanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, all simple process. And those who do very sincerely, Krishna says, it takes very swift deliver. It don't take more time. Just like this Arjuna sacrifice everything for the satisfaction of Krishna, working for Krishna, rendering service for Krishna, all the things. Devotees do not need all these impersonal things or yogi, Astanga yoga also. They do not want that, all this process. Therefore, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Sarva Dharman Parityada Mamekam Saranam Bhaja. Ham Tvam Sarva Papebhyo Mukhya Sami Ma Sucha. You are rotting and rotating in this material world on account of your karma. Never mind, you just surrender. Surrender means what? Devotional service. Back to Godhead means back to service. So surrender means service. Devotional. Sarvanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam. 9 process of devotional service. And if we engage in that, Krishna says, sincerely, I am the swift deliverer. So the supremacy of the bhakti has been given. Also, there is a verses where it is said that there is a division of the, some division of how the different division of the supreme division of the living entities, that bhakti, the bhakta is superior, then impersonalist, then all others. And then Krishna says that progressive stage of now, in first 7 verses, Krishna is explaining that although impersonalist, impersonal form is a prescribed, authorized one, but it is troublesome, painful. Bhakti is supremacy of the bhakti. Bhakti is the best process and easiest way to come to me. So now Krishna is telling this progressive stage of devotion. He explained about superiority, now how to apply it, how to do this bhakti. Very nice, important verses, 5 verses. Mayeva manaddusta mai buddhim niveshaya niveshyasya mayeva atma urdham na sansaya. First thing is, the first class thing is that just fix your mind upon me, Supreme Personality of Godhead, and engage all your intelligence in me. Thus you will leave me always without a doubt. That is very important. See, Bhakti Yoga is a very systematic process of cultivating the attachment toward Lord Krishna while becoming detached from the material world. Krishna never said detach first. Krishna in 7th chapter, the beginning of the Bhakti Yoga, 7 to 12, the first verse of 7th chapter, Krishna says, first you attach to me, automatically detach will come. Maya sakta mana partha yagamanja madasraya. First you attach to me. Maya sakta mana partha. Your mind must be attached to me. Here also Krishna says, this first class means just fix your mind upon me. Satatam kirtante mama jadanta sududdavata. Namasyantasya manana. Satatam, always think of manmana bhava mada bhakta mada jaji mamram. 2 times Krishna says, 934, 1865. Emphatically that you should engage your mind. How to engage your mind? Because mind is very chanchalam manahi Krishna. Today my class was Bhagavatam class in the temple, that mind your mind. Mind is very pramati balavadadridhan. Mind is very strong, very impetuous, like a horse. Very strong, is very stubborn and difficult to control. But it only can be controlled by engaging in the service of the Krishna. So fix your mind means engage in the 9 kind of hearing, chanting, all the things. Navada bhakti. Sarvanam kirtanam, Vishnu smaranam, pada sevanam, mandanam, archanam, vandanam, dasyam sakhyam, atmanivedanam. Itti pamsarpita Vishnu, bhakti chena navalakshana. So we should do all the bhakti. That is the first class Krishna said. So the whole 12th chapter of first 7 verses, Krishna explained about the superiority of the bhakti. Now, how to perform devotional service. In the next 5 verses, Krishna is now telling how to perform the level of. First thing is thinking exclusively of Krishna, fix up the mind, engage all the intelligent. The result is you will live in me, Krishna telling without a doubt. That is whole idea. Therefore, whole Prabhupada has made this whole Hare Krishna movement based on this verse actually. Whole our program, right from the Mangala Arati to chanting, Tulasi Puja, chanting Mangala Arati, Narsima Bharat Pranam Arati, then chanting Tulasi Arati, then chanting the japas, blessing the Krishna, Singhar Arati, Bhagavatam class, Prasad, Sankirtan, then evening classes, all these things has been planned by Prabhupada to particular for this process, to fix our mind upon Krishna. Because this is Krishna said, this is the first class thing. Whole idea. To come to the position of always meditating 24/7. Of course, when you are practicing, it will take time, not that 24/7. But by practicing, it has to come to the point. Therefore, the golden rule is that Satata Kirta, what is that? Satatam Vishnu, Satatam Vishnu Smataiva. 24 hours you have to think, always think of Vishnu. This is the golden Vishnu Purana, it says that. So in this way, what we will do, it will be like engage in the service like Prabhupada has given. We are talking about Krishna. I mean, when I'm talking about Krishna, I'm not thinking of anybody else other than Krishna. I'm hearing of Krishna, I'm not thinking. I'm engaging in some service, I'm not thinking of some film star or some Bollywood, some other things. So I'm thinking of Krishna. That is called Krishna telling, Mayeva Mana Abdhasta, just fix your mind upon me. So whole this devotional process is orchestrated or designed so that we can fix our mind. Therefore, Krishna says, Manmana bhava mad bhakta mad jadi mam namaskuru. Mam evasyasi sattam se pratijane priyosimi. You will come to me by this process of always think of me. The chanting is the process of meditating Krishna. Because meditating Krishna will be disturbed, particularly in this age. Therefore, the chanting and hearing is the process. The result of chanting and hearing, then we can meditate. Otherwise, we cannot meditate. Savanam Kirtanam is fasting. Then Krishna says that Athachitam Samudhatam Na Soknosi Mayasiram Abhyasa Jogena Tatam Mam Ichha Putam Dhananjaya. My dear Arjuna, winner of the wealth, if you cannot fix your mind upon me without deviation, then follow the regulative principle of Bhakti Yoga. In this way, develop the desire to attain me. That is what we are doing. The practicing stage, sadhana bhakti. Fixing your mind is like a high stage, samadhi, or our is called full of love, bhava, and prema state. But when you are doing sadhana bhakti, we cannot do that. Constantly fix our mind on Krishna. Then we follow the regulative principle called sadhana bhakti. Following the regulative principle of bhakti yoga. So we are doing this bhakti yoga given by the spiritual master. What for? To develop a desire to attain Krishna. Unless we have a desire to attain Krishna, then we will not execute it. We will not success. Must have a desire. Therefore, sadhana means under the rule and regulation of spiritual master. As we do, then automatically when you get matured, the desire, the ruchi will develop. Stages are there. Ruchi will develop. Here, this is beautiful verse Rupa Goswami has given. Rupa Goswami has said the 9th stage of devotional service. So here it is said that do Shraddha Tatha Sadhu Sangha Atha Bhajana Kriya Tatha Anartha Nividisa Tatha Nishta Ruchi Tatha Bhasakti Tatha Bhavas. So in the beginning, there must be a faith, so we are coming to temple. Then one become interested in associating with pure devotee. Thereafter one is initiated by spiritual master and execute regulative principle under his order. See here up to this is called sadhana bhakti. Thus one is freed from unwanted habit, anartha nivritti will come. Become firmly, result of sadhana bhakti, become firmly fixed in devotional service. Thereafter one develop taste and attachment. Then we have a taste, desire to attain. And this is the way of sadhana bhakti, the execution of devotional service according to the regulative principle. Gradually emotion. Up to this is actually sadhana bhakti. Up to stage of attachment. Then gradually emotion intensify, finally awakening of love. This sadhana bhakti is important because it develops a desire to attain Krishna. Then when you get matured, this raganuga bhakti comes, where the bhava and love will come. Up to attachment thing. So this regulative principle is very important. So spiritual master, to follow the order of spiritual master and follow the regulative principle under the direction of spiritual master is the secret of success. Because 12.8, the previous verses, Krishna is telling that just fix your mind upon me means those who already develop the attachment for Krishna. They are very high stage, first class stage. For them, no need of regulative principle. They are always fixed. For us, we need 16 rounds, not for Haridas Thakur. Haridas Thakur will do 192 rounds because he is already in a stage of attachment. For us, the 16 round also difficult. So therefore, it is called regulative. When we will have a taste or desire to attain, then we will do the 16 round more even. And very nicely we will do, attentively. So that is very important thing. Those who have not developed, they have to go through the regulative principle. Because without love, now we cannot come to the first class state. Just like if we go to work, salary, only there is no love. You're going to work for salary. That is not actually, not a proper way of that things. But when you love somebody, you will do anything for him. So therefore, our process is that this they follow the regulative principle of devotional service under the guidance of things. And what are the guidance? What are the regulative principle? Prabhupada is given. These very important verses. So here it is stated that in the purport, from this we can understand how we have to be very cautious in executing our spiritual duty by observing the rules and regulations and regularly chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Out of all the order, most important, the foremost order of spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, is chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. If we neglect doing this, we will eventually fall down. We must rise early in the morning, bathe, attend Mangalarati, worship the deity, chant Hare Krishna mantra, study the Vedic literature, follow all the rules prescribed by the Acharya and spiritual master. If we deviate from this process, we may fall down, even though we may be very highly advanced, as stated in Bhagavad Gita. We may be highly advanced, but the rules and regulations has to be followed. Without following this process of things, we may fall down. So this is the orders Krishna has been used. This is the called regulative principle. If we follow that, then we will develop. So Krishna is telling the second stage. Second stage is that we have not developed, but we have to follow the regulative principle. So easy to understand. Prabhupada, because of Prabhupada, we understand this very easy, progressive stage. If you cannot practice the regulation of Bhakti Yoga, then just try to work for me. Because by working for me, you will come to the perfect state. Very important. Supposing I do not do the regulative principle. Many people in temple, they are not initiated. They come only Sunday, or they do not even, very haphazardly they come into the zoom in or check into the temple for Sunday program, particularly for the prasadam than anything. So Krishna telling those who cannot practice the regulation of Bhakti Yoga, just try to work for me, because by working me, you will come to me. So that is the third class one, third stage. So you cannot practice 12-8. What is that? This completely fix your mind. You cannot practice regulative principle also to develop the attachment for Krishna. Then Krishna is telling. So Krishna is so good. Krishna is multi-level. Devotional service is so beauty that it has got multiple levels. There is no loss. We have so many options are given. Working for Krishna. How to work for Krishna? Krishna has given 1155, I showed you. Krishna, for anything for Krishna service, Ravanam, Kirtanam, going to the market to buy something for Krishna, propagation of things, propagation of so many, so helping for yes.
Cannot see the screen. 1155. Did you show 1155?
I have shown here now 1155. I think you can, here you show. The 5 tips to come to Mata Karma Krit, Mat Parama, Mata Bhakta Sangha Vardita, Nirbhay Sarva Bhuteshu. That is called work for me, is the first one, Mata Karma Krit. What is this work for me? Try to understand the Bhagavad Gita through our Parampara system. So here, Prabhupada has explained very nice. Anyone who wants to approach the Supreme of all personality of Godhead on the Krishna Loka planet and the spiritual life, be intimately connected with Supreme Personality Krishna, must take this formula as stated by the Supreme himself. Therefore, this verse is considered to be the essence of Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is a book direct to conditioned soul who are engaged in material world with the purpose of lording it over material nature, who do not know the real spiritual life. So here it is saying that now here is the verse which clearly explains the process by which one can attain success in the spiritual activity. It's here important. As far as work is concerned, was to transfer his energy entirely to Krishna consciousness activity. As stated in Bhakti Rasamrita, Anasakta Sabhisaya Jatharam Pupajanjate, Nirbandha Krishna Sambandhe Yuktam Vairagavati. That is the principle of Krishna. I tell you, work for me. Work for me means no work should be done by any man except in relation to Krishna. Anything you do for Krishna. This is called Krishna Karma. One may be engaged in various activities. One should not be attached to the result of his work. The result should be done only for him. For example, one may be engaged in business, but to transform that activity into Krishna consciousness, one has to do business for Krishna. If Krishna is the proprietor of the business, then Krishna should enjoy the profit of the business. If a businessman in possession of $1,000, if he has to offer all this to Krishna, he can do it. This is work for Krishna. Instead of constructing a big building for his sense gratification, he can construct a nice temple for Krishna. He can install the deity of Krishna and arrange for deity service. And he's outlined the authorized books, devotional service. This is called Krishna Karma. One should not be attached to the result of work, but result should be offered to the Krishna, and one should accept as a prasadam remnant of offering. Kayena bacham manasa indriya. Another verse is there. Everything should be given to Krishna. That is called Krishna Karma. So Krishna is telling that you work for me. That means you work all your activities, the result of your activity should be given. That is what is called that one. Niskama Karma Yoga. That we should offer the result to Krishna. If, however, you are unable to work in this consciousness, you are giving. So this is called work for me. Work for me means work for Krishna. Jagyartha karma nanyatha lokoyam karma bandhana. For the Krishna satisfaction you have to do. Then if you cannot do that also, working in Krishna consciousness. Working in Krishna consciousness means yat karosi yad asnasi yad josi darasya yat tapasyasi konte tat kuru samadarpanam. Whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you charitable do, you do for me. That is called 11 verses. And if you cannot do that, Krishna has given that one more formula. If, however, you are unable to work in this consciousness of me, then try to act, giving up all result of your work and try to be self-situated. If you cannot work for Krishna consciousness, you cannot do the regulative principle, you cannot fix your mind, then Krishna telling now you do the Niskama Karma Yoga. You just do as a matter of your duty. Not expecting, giving up all the result of your work. Like they do in the in our Karma Kanda session, charity, hospital, and yajna, social, all this called this kind of thing. They do it. Community service, national service, all the things, at least do. Why? Because even after he does not know that, people do not know that they do yajna, this yajna, national service, hospital service. They do not know that everything has to be done for the Krishna. Supreme cause is Krishna. But still, they will gradually understand by this process. There's a beautiful verses in this regard. Krishna say in the 18th chapter. In magazine, I have given these verses. In the magazine yesterday I published, I have given these verses, work is worship. So in these verses, Krishna, in these verses, Krishna is telling that by worship of the Lord, who is the source of all being, who is all providing, man can attain perfection through performing his own work. Performing his own work, you do the work, but you discard. That's just like Arjuna, Krishna was initially in second chapter. Second chapter, Krishna was giving Niskama Karma Yoga. You do not expect the result, should not expect the result. You do the work as a matter of duty. In this way, what will happen? It will slowly develop to understand the supreme cause is Krishna. Otherwise, work is not worship actually. It has to ultimately culminate to the point of worshipping the Lord. Nehat karma dharmaya na vairagya kalpate na tirtha pad sevai jivan api mritta hisa. So beautiful verses. Anyone whose work is not meant to elevate him to religious life, anyone whose religious ritualistic performance do not raise him to renunciation, anyone situated in renunciation that does not lead him to devotional service to the Supreme Personality of God must be considered dead, although he is breathing. So Krishna has given this systematic process that your work has to come to the elevate to the religious life. And religious ritualistic performance raise to the renunciation. And renunciation lead to the devotional service. So Krishna is explaining the same way in a different dynamism, different dimension. So here Krishna is telling, if you are unable to work, then you try to give up all your result. Try to be self-situated. In this way, at least, finally you will understand that. Then Krishna is telling, if you cannot take this practice, then engage yourself in the cultivation of knowledge. Better than knowledge, however, is meditation. Better than meditation is renunciation of the fruit of the action. By such renunciation, one can attain peace of mind. So here Krishna telling that the two kind of devotional service, a regulative principle and full attachment, and the cultivation of knowledge. You cannot take to this practice also, then engage yourself in cultivation of knowledge. You do the cultivation of knowledge. Better than knowledge, however, meditation. Better than meditation is renunciation of fruit of the action. See, although the Dhyana Yoga, this Karma Yoga is better than in superior to the, Jnana Yoga is superior to Karma, because Krishna here it is telling that, because it will cause a disturbance, it's cause a problem. Therefore, this Krishna here telling that better than even cultivation of the knowledge is meditation. Meditation means like yogis are meditating. Better than meditation is rather karmic reaction. Why karmic reaction better? Slowly they can elevate. It's a direct process. For those who are all these things, those who are unable to follow the Krishna consciousness path, it is better to cultivate knowledge. Result of knowledge means he understands his real position. And that knowledge will develop the meditation. Then one can gradually understand Supreme Personality of Godhead. And if you cannot meditate that in such a way, there are Vedic prescribed duty for different varnas, like Brahmanas has something, Kshatriya has some dharma. One should give up all the result of the labor, employ the results for some good cause. Why? Because renunciation of fruit is mentioned is better than meditation. Although karma yoga is the lowest on the yoga ladder, Krishna says it is better than meditation because it is more practical. It does not disturb the mind with harsh and impractical requirement for renunciation. Beautiful. So why Krishna is telling? Because karma yoga is good because it is a practical purpose. Everybody is working 99.99% working. So for them, renunciation is not, or meditation, renunciation, all the things is very difficult. It's not practical. Therefore, Krishna say, so better you do that karma yoga things. Slowly you will come to the process meditating. By employ your result for a good cause or renouncing your fruit, then what you will do? You will come to the stage of meditating. And you can go to again, after meditating, you come to the stage of renunciation. So this is the prescribed method Krishna has given different stage, actually. Because gradually they have to, purification is there. Na? So purification process, one has to do all the things, karma kanda. It is stated in this beautiful verses in Bhagavatam also. Why we need this karma kanda section? Because to purify ourselves, we cannot follow all these paths. So what to do? Something must be there. Na? Therefore, Veda is encompasses for everyone, encompasses everyone. Krishna is giving a chance to everyone to come back to him. In these verses, it is stated that in this material world, the conditioned soul is always inclined to sex, meat eating, intoxication. Therefore, religious scripture never actually encourages such activity. Although the scriptural injunction provide for the sex through sacred marriage, for meat eating, through sacrificial offering, intoxication, through acceptance of ritual cups, wine, such ceremony are meant for ultimate purpose of renunciation. So, whole ultimate purpose is renounced, but they cannot do this slowly process. You just, in another verses also, it is stated that those statement of scripture promising fruitive reward do not prescribe the ultimate good for men, but are merely enticement for executing beneficial religious duty, like a promises of candy spoken to induce a child to take beneficial medicine. So although all these things, all this, the lowest thing of give up your work, all the things Krishna is explaining, whole idea to elevate. In this way, one can elevate. Therefore, Krishna is explaining to elevate. Even a person is very lowest karmi, they can also be elevated by following some sort of thing. By renouncing the fruit of the aspen, they will also elevate. Then the next few verses, it is stating about the quality. What are the quality Krishna actually like in a devotee? So Krishna said that bhakti is very, very efficacious method of spiritual advancement. One engaged in bhakti exhibit transcendental quality which mark him as a devotee. Lord is pleased with such. Whole idea of this particular thing. So one verse is that it says that Jasyasti Bhakti Bhagavati Akinchana.
Krishna,
Yes.
oh, I think this chapter deserves 2 days, one more day.
Okay, then we can stop here. We can stop. We can the quality. We can go through all the quality because yes, quality to be explained very thoroughly. What are the different quality Krishna likes it, but it is stated that those who are devotional service, I mean, is so efficacious. A devotee automatically, 10 for 5, 8, 12. So in these verses, it is said that person who develop automatically good quality will come, and Krishna likes this quality, all this quality. Jasasti bhaktir bhagavati akinchana sarve gunesh tatra samsati sura haro avaktasakita manpana manorathena davati bari. All the demigods in their exalted qualities of the religion, knowledge, renunciation become manifest in this world. One who has developed unalloyed devotion for the Supreme Personality of God, Vasudeva. On the other hand, person devoid of devotional service, engaged in material activity, has no good quality. Even if he is adapted practice of mystic yoga or honest endeavor of maintaining his family relatives, he must be driven by his own mental speculation, must engage in service of Lord's external energy. How can there be any good qualities in such a man? So it is said that this devotees automatically manifest the good qualities. So now the subsequent chapter we will study in the next session, the quality the Krishna likes and what are the quality Krishna has been given. So we should compare with our whether we have manifested this quality or not. That is the testing yardstick or yardstick of measuring our progression of bhakti. If we progress bhakti means we should develop these qualities. We have to be developed. It has to be automatically. It's not external effort. So today we have learned the two things. Bhakti is superior to impersonalism, superiority of the bhakti over impersonalism, progressive stage of devotion also. So if you have any question, anything, you can ask like this.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Very nice class as always. Thank you. So this bhakti, Ananya Bhakti is one, that is pure devotional service. And then Mishra Bhakti, there are kinds of Mishra Bhakti. And then you have Ahanga Upasana, Prithak Upasana, and then Bahu.
Yes.
So there are many kinds of bhaktis. It's there in 12th chapter only, or?
No, it is there, 9:15 there. Na? I showed you in 9:15, Krishna has spoken. Na? I'll show you again. So this 9:15 Krishna has spoken about. 9th chapter is called confidential knowledge. Krishna has spoken about different worshipper. So in 9:11 Krishna start with the devotees, pure devotees. So what is the symptoms of pure devotees? They are this is one kind of worshipper. They are called pure devotee. So in 9 start with the 9:14 and 9:13, 14. Yeah. So Mahatmanastu Mam Partha. This is the Daivam Prakriti Astridam Bhajanti Ananyaya. You want Ananya, right? Ananya Manasa. These are they called pure devotees. O son of Pitha, who are not deluded, great soul, are under the protection of the divine nature. They are fully engaged in devotional service because they know me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, original inexhaustible. And second verse is also symptoms of 9:14. Symptoms of what they do actually, Satatam Kitayantamam Jadantascha Diddhavata Namasyantascha Mam Bhaktya Nitya Dukya Upasate. What the pure devotee activities? Always chanting my glories. So we are discussing means we are chanting the glories of the Lord. Therefore, this important to classes are important. Always chanting my glories, endeavoring with great determination, bowing down before me. This great soul perpetually worship me. These are called one type of worship called pure devotional, Ananyaya Bhakti. So some other verses also 8:14 and all it is given. Krishna also given Ananyaya Bhakti. Then another three kind of worshipper Krishna also said in Bhagavad Gita. Same chapter in the next verses. Next verses Krishna is telling that there are three kind of another verses. And who are three? Others who engage in sacrifice by cultivation of knowledge. Worship the Supreme Lord as one without a second, as diverse in many, and in the universal form. There are other kind of things, other kind of first there are Jnana Yogena Chapi Anya. That is the impersonalist. Jagyatamam Upasate. Ekattena Purthekena. Ekattena means those who want to merge in Krishna. Purthekena means demigod worship. That means they say that God, many gods. India they say many gods. Purthaktena Bahuda, Vishwasta Mukham. Vishwasta Mukham means worshipper of demigods. So Krishna has given all these things, different worshipper. The verse is the summary of the previous verse. Lord tells Arjuna that those who are purely in Krishna consciousness do not know anything other than Krishna are called Mahatma. Yet there are other persons who are not exactly in the position of Mahatma, but who worship Krishna also in different ways. Some of them have already been described as the distress financially. That is 7:15. The four kind of people surrender to me. Chaturveda bhajante mam sukirtina Arjuna. Artha arthati jnani jigyansu jnani. Distressed, financially destitute, inquisitive, those who are engaged in cultivation of knowledge. But there are others who are still lower. First highest is Bhakta, Mahatmanastu Mamapastha. Second highest is four kind of pious people, Artha, Arthati, Jnani, Jigyasu. Third class of people who worship the Lord, they are divided into three. One who worship himself as one who is Supreme Lord. He who conquers some form of Supreme Lord worship that, and who accept the universal form. Vishwarupa, Supreme Personality of Godhead, worship that. This is the lowest class of three kind of. First one is, he worship himself as one with Supreme Lord. That is called impersonalist, Mayavadi. And he who conquered the form of Supreme Lord and worship that is called demigod worshipper. Purthaktena, ekaktena, purthaktena. Then Vishwarupa. He who accepts the universal form, Vishwarupa of Supreme Personality of Godhead and worship that. Out of above three, the lowest, those who worship themselves as the Supreme Lord. Mayavadi's position is very, very lowest, Supreme Lord. Because they are thinking that I am the Supreme Lord, I am the God. To be monist, that cannot be. One cannot be monist. Because I am not the controller. Krishna says Supreme Controller. I am not the Supreme Controller. How can I think that I am the same? Aham Brahmasmi doesn't mean that you are the Supreme Brahman. Such people think themselves to be the Supreme Lord, and in this mentality, they worship themselves. This is also a type of God worship, for they can understand that they are not the material body, but are actually spiritual soul. At last, such a sense is prominent. Such a sense is prominent. Generally, this impersonalist worship the Supreme Lord in this way. See, this is called Mayavadi, third class. Right? The second class includes worshipper of the demigod, those who by imagination consider any form of Supreme Lord. And third class includes those who cannot conceive anything beyond the manifestation of this material universe. They consider the universe to be supreme organism or entity and worship that. The universe is also a form of that law. You have seen that. There's a aborigine. I was in Australia. There's a red phone, one place is there. It's aborigine. Sometimes the aborigine, when there is a earthquake, there is a thunder, there is a sound, they will bow down. So these people, they think that, whole universe, they have that universal form. Everything there, something happened, wonderful, they bow down. They bow down to the thunderbolt. They bow down to the rain, I have seen actually. So they are called a Vishwarupa worshipper. So this is already explained 9:15. Therefore, Arjuna is already clarified in this Ekatyana one, the impersonalist. Because Lord has already very elaborately explained about the demigod worship in the subsequent verses, 9:16, 9:17, 9 up to 9:20, 25 actually. He's explained about the demigod. He's explained about the devotees. Already he explained about the four kind of people worship, but he never explained about impersonalist. Therefore, Arjuna is asking, which is the best? Are they impersonalist or devotional personalist? So Krishna already explained that superiority of devotional service, personal form worshipping. And also Krishna explained that how to execute that devotional service, progressive stage of devotional service.
Okay, thank you so much. And this Brahmavadi and Mayavadi both merge in the Brahman, right?
No, actually, Brahmavadi, they are merged into the body of the Krishna. There's a technicality is there. So the Brahmavadi, they merge into the body of the Krishna. One is merged into the effulgence of the Krishna. So there's a little bit of technicality, thin line is there. But both are almost the same category.
Okay.
So
Okay,
thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Any Ramya, Prabhuji, on some live streaming YouTube live sessions, screen shared are very small. Some session it become difficult to see the notes, especially last Sunday session. Oh, I am extremely sorry. Apologize for that. Actually, it's, because it's the limitation of making the things bigger. because because of space. Nonetheless, I will try to make it a bigger in the subsequent classes, and I will be sending also the notes those who have not received. I'm sending regularly, so you can check there also. And during the live classes, I will try to for next subsequent session and all. I'll make it more bold and more bigger, because more bold and bigger means I have to create a more slide. It will expand. But it is fine, because whole idea is to show the notes and show the verses. Whole idea is that we all come here discussing as Prabhupada has ordered, discuss among devotees, so that our understanding will improve. Once we understanding will improve, then we will be more and more, meditating, fix our mind on Krishna as Krishna stage of devotion. Krishna says this regulative principle means discussing, hearing about Krishna. Then slowly we will fix our mind. Just like during the session, our mind is always hearing or speaking about Krishna, thinking of Krishna. That is called fix your mind. So in this way, we will Manmana Bhava, always think of me, Krishna said. So in this way, we will practicing, we will come to the stage of perfection of stage. So thank you very much. Thank you, Mataji. So next session, I will be taking care of all this font things. So thank you. If no question, we'll stop here, and wish you all have a very Krishna consciousness days. Please try to reflect this beautiful, wonderful subject matter, this one, and easy for us to understand, because we are reading the purport of the Prabhupada and discussing on this subject matter, in the jurisdiction of Prabhupada's explanation. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.